Hey, I'm Carlos, our game designer, and welcome to the third episode of Diary of a Designer. In this series, I'm going to share with you my journey as a board game creator, the challenge, the wins, the obstacles, everything that goes into turning an idea into a game that people can enjoy at their table. You'll see the real process and filter, the problems that came up, how we solve them, and the lessons I'm learning along the way. And speaking of problems, have you ever thought that adding something small to a board game would be easy? Well, let me tell you how adding one more faction almost drove me crazy. Today, I'm going to tell you how to solve a problem that seems simple in the new game that we are developing, but turn it in a mathematical nightmare. Look, here was the problem. We had a game for 2 to 4 players, but we needed it to work with 5 players too. Simple, right? You add a 6th faction and you're done. But here comes the problem. Our game has an activation effect when you play cards from the same faction, and it has a dominance track where players compete for points. When you change the number of factions, you change all the math in the game. The activation's effects break, the final scoring gets unbalanced. Everything we had balanced for months went down to the drain. So we had to find a solution that will work for 2, 3, 4 and 5 players without having to create different versions of the same game. And this is where it gets interesting. The solution we found was to create an unplayable character, NPCs. Each player that's not present in the game gets to replace with an NPC that plays cards. What we did achieve with this, that no matter how many real players are at the table, the number of activations stay constant. The math works again. But getting to this solution wasn't easy at all. Let me tell you about my process. When you are facing a problem this deep, the first thing is to do a complete analysis. You review all the game elements that are going to be affected by the change, and then you do a mental simulation. How would the game play out with this change? What points are going to break? After that analysis on paper comes the most important part. Create a prototype and bring it to the table with your testing group. Because trust me, there are always elements you overlook until you see the game in action. And here's something you only learn with experience. After more than 6 games created and successfully funded, over time, you develop a kind of nose of detecting what's going to fail and what change might work. But at first, it's pure trial and error. You know, when you found the solution, it's hard to explain with work, but it's a feeling that you get when you see everything working together. It's like a click, a feeling that tells you that is it. If you are designing your own game, let me give you the best advice I can give you. Create a prototype as soon as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be pretty, but bring it to the table. Because when you play your concept, you discover problems you would have never thought of just in your head, and you understand your own game better. From there, it's a matter of iterating, testing solutions, discarding, and what doesn't work until you find something you like and that works. And well, that was the first episode of Diary of the Designer. If you enjoy learning what goes on behind creating a board game, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next episodes. I'll regularly be bringing you more stories, problems and solutions from the designs and creation process. See you in the next chapter.